So, today I'm going to talk about Pharaoh, the well-known pharaohs of Egypt, and the extremely well-known Pharaoh who was the enemy of Moses and enemy of the God, obviously. And this guy who thought he was God and that no one could tell him what to do and that no one was above him. It applies to the vast majority of your leaders today on the earth and has for all of time on this creation, on this earth that we live in. That you think you are gods or lords or that you are equal to God and that no one can tell you anything that is against your desires. And if someone does, then he has to be wrong in some way or the other, because everybody is entitled to their own way and that no one can ever interfere in their way, or the slightest bit of telling them they're wrong is unacceptable and they must be quashed. This is the way of the so-called gods on the earth, your leaders that you treat like gods. This is the way of God as well. But he is the only one who you cannot tell what to do. You cannot be like him. You cannot partner with him. And if you do, he's going to come and destroy you. And nothing's going to stop him. And he's done it many times before. Whereas your leaders, which you think are about to destroy you or are able to destroy you, cannot really destroy you. Because the actual destruction will come after the destruction in this life, on this earth. So Pharaoh made many statements, and I've said before and I'll repeat it, the most obvious and elaborate story that is told in the Quran is of Pharaoh and Moses, and what Pharaoh said to what Moses said, and what Moses said to what Pharaoh said. And I'm going to share with you some of these excerpts from the Quran and explain to you how most of you are either pharaohs or little pharaohs with all the nonsense that you think you've acquired and that you have suddenly become gods or untouchables, or that you are the elites on the earth, just like Pharaoh thought. And you are on the earth elites because you have wealth and you have apparent power and you have apparent control and apparent wealth in this life of the world, which is a deception, a hoax. You're living a dream. The reality is the unseen. The seen is the deception. And until you realize that the unseen is the reality and everything in the unseen overcomes everything in the seen, which is your science, only then you will realize that you're completely off track and going into the abyss from where you will never return. So Pharaoh was one of these guys. Now must be a high Satan in the unseen, calling all of you to the fire, like the highest Satan calls you to the fire, and all his followers on the earth call you to the fire. If you look around, everybody on the earth is saying what Pharaoh said fundamentally in the most intrinsic manner. They're repeating what Pharaoh said to Moses, to what I say to you, or anyone from the side of God will say to you. Now, many who are against the leaders and think they are with God are actually not, because they're partnering with God. They're calling themselves God. I mean, these guys who are against God are also calling themselves God, while the others who are against them are saying these guys are against God and they call themselves gods as well. I mean, it's a joke. It's a situation of comedic enormity. These people are so lost, they cannot see beyond what has been bestowed upon them in this world, and that makes them somehow gods or lords. So I'm going to explain. I'm not going to give you all of them. It takes a long time to go through everything that is said about Pharaoh and Moses, but some of the crux of what Pharaoh said and how it applies to all of you here on the earth today, to what we say, all the messengers of God. We say exactly the same thing. We don't differ from each other. We say exactly the same thing in the highest level of the message of God. There's never a difference. Now, how that message comes to you in each generation is different. Like, for example, Moses came with a stick, which beat the bejeebers out of Pharaoh and all his followers and his chiefs. Now you will say, oh, the stick is what is important. You got to have the stick, the staff of Moses. Yeah, I mean, God does it any which way He wants. He chose the staff to be the bearer of bad news. He got beat down by a stick, a little stick, that performed so many acts of miracles while Moses was here, and you think that was a joke. I mean, most of you think that the story of Pharaoh and Moses is also made up. It certainly isn't. Moses is absolutely true and absolutely existed and absolutely did whatever the Quran says he did, and also the Torah and the Gospel, the Injil that the Christians hold. So, all of you who think that he didn't exist and Pharaoh is just a joke, well, you can look at the pyramids, all the examples of the sarcophaguses and everything, which is part of what is written in the Quran. When Pharaoh died in the end, when he was drowned and he was drowning, I'll tell you what he said towards the end when I finish this, yeah? Hopefully if I remember. So, let me go through some of these things that happened. So comes Moses to Pharaoh and tells he's a messenger and all that, and then Pharaoh says to him, and I've come with signs to you, so follow me and send with me sons of Israel. That when Moses came with Aaron to Pharaoh, he said that. So Pharaoh says, if you coming with signs, but come with them if you be from the truthful. So he threw his staff, and here a serpent clear. And he took out his hand, but went here bright to the looker, so it all shone bright, and the stick became a serpent. So the chief said, from the people of Pharaoh, his chiefs, like we all have ministers, vice ministers, and all sorts of nonsense that you create. So these were the chiefs under Pharaoh, who called himself God, Pharaoh himself. Surely this to be a magician knowledgeable. He wants that he take you out from your earth, but what you command. So this is what they say to the people, not to Pharaoh. And they said, return him and his brother, and send in the city's gathering. They bring to you with every magician knowledgeable. So this is how you react. When a guy comes, he does things which are beyond your understanding, or he tells you things which are absolutely 180 degrees against what you believe. This is what happens. You say, oh, you go away. We'll bring a response to you. Like in this case is the magicians. But in my case, you go away. We're not going to talk to you. We're going to bring our guys to dispute with you. Yeah, I'm waiting. It's been 15 years. You haven't brought any guy who can dispute with me and this Quran, yeah? Because you don't understand this Quran, and you will never be able to do it to dispute me with this Quran. You will dispute me with your thoughts and the nonsense that you believe. That's about it. So this is one aspect of how it applies now and has forever, before and after Moses. So let's go to another place. So comes Moses, and he says to him and Aaron, surely we messengers of your Lord, so send with us sons of Israel, and don't you punish them. Have we come to you with signs from your Lord, and the peace over one who follows the guidance. So this is what I come and tell you as well. I have come from your Lord With which signs? Not the signs that Moses and Aaron came with this Quran, the signs of this Quran. And I'm not here to tell you don't punish sons of Israel. Yeah? But I am here to tell you peace over one who follows the guidance. And it has been inspired to me, just like it was inspired to Moses, that the punishment is over one who falsifies and turns. So when I bring you this truth, and you falsify me, and you turn away, just wait. The punishment will come to you. There's no doubt about that. And many have done that and felt the wrath of God already. They know themselves, who they are. They know how it works. But the rest of you will not know till the actual punishment comes. Those who have been punished because of what I've said and they turned away and have realized, and they turn back to God and accept their crimes and they right themselves, they might be forgiven. Yeah, but the rest of you who have no idea and just falsify and turn away and never realize that you're being punished by God in ways that you don't understand, that will only end when the actual punishment and your death comes. That will be showing you where you're going when that actually occurs. So, here again, Pharaoh asks Moses, who is the Lord of you both, O Moses? And Moses says, our Lord, the one who gives everything its creation, then guides. So everything is guided by God. Even you, the Satans. Even you, the rejectors. Even you, the hypocrites. Everyone is guided by God. Everyone. But the guidance that is brought to you by God is via the Satan, or via the rejectors, or via his spirit, or his books, or messengers and prophets. So which guidance are you going to take? Which one are you being guided by? I'm being guided by God and His Spirit and these books, and specifically the Quran. Absolute guidance of God is the Quran. So then he asks questions, what happened to the old people? So what condition of the generation is the first? And Moses says, their knowledge with my Lord in a book. This book is the mother of the book, which contains everything. All that has occurred is in this book. And all that will occur is in this book, except what we are doing to change our path in it. The framework has already been laid till the end. What has already passed cannot be changed. What I have done in my past cannot be changed, no matter what kind of nonsense, quantum physics and wormholes and nonsense that you invent. There is no way you can go back in this timeline and change what has happened in the past. It cannot be done. You can only change your future. The future of the whole framework and this earth and everything has already been laid in stone. You must find your path by your own choices, where you will end up in this framework. That's all that's going on. And that is in your own hands, like it is in my hands. But the thing is that you must give up to the higher authority. But you give up to the higher authority of Satan instead of the higher authority of people like me, the messengers of God. So you have to understand where you people are. You're in no position to come and challenge me or tell me that you have authority over me. You have none. The only authority you have over me is to demand that I give you the absolute truth that is in this Quran, and I don't add any of my own thoughts other than what is written in this book, and the words from this book guide my thoughts. I don't follow your thoughts, and I don't follow my thoughts, and I don't follow my thoughts without knowledge and the truth of this book. Only with the truth and words of this book do I follow my thoughts. That's the only way you can follow your thought, because it'll be guided by these words. So you're not really following your thought, because if I followed my thought, I'd make myself God like Pharaoh, just like you people make yourselves God. You must understand that we all have the ability to think we are gods. Our souls have the ability to make ourselves God. This is nonsense that we have been given the ability to do, but God has given us that ability. Why do you think people call themselves God? Because God hasn't given them the ability to do that? Or maybe that God has given them the ability to do that. So here comes another spot where now Moses has run away with the sons of Israel, and this Pharaoh this moron, scum of the earth, burning in the fire. He sends in the city's gathering. He says to them, surely these to be a gang little, and surely they to us to be furious, and surely we to be altogether warned. So this is the moronic garbage. He tells them that we're going to overcome these guys, the sons of Israel and Moses that are just left with the command of God to run from them and go to the sea and part the sea, leave the sea dry, and they will be drowned. They didn't know this. So we took them out from gardens and springs, and treasures and stations honored, like that, and we inherited them sons of Israel. So followed them at daybreak. So this is what happened. So this is what they did. So look at what's happening to all your riches and your treasures and what you've done over the last 30, 40 years. All those that had wealth and power on the earth, and 30 years ago, 40 years ago, they thought they were gods. These Americans, these Western nations, and the rest of the world was supposed to bow down to them as they were gods, as if they were gods. Yeah. So what's happened? Your treasures are going to be lost. The gardens and springs that you have, you will lose, and they'll be inherited to people other than you after you're massacred and destroyed. Whoever they are, it does not matter. Yeah. In the end, it'll be the believers. When this generation ends, God will put the believers in charge again, like He's done every time before. And then the cycle will start once more, till the last cycle starts, whenever that will come. So this is your mentality of your leaders. They do the same thing. I mean, what I'm giving you here is actually what your leaders are doing today and have been doing forever. There's nothing new going on. People go and do these analysis on, oh, this historical, this happened. No, it's all written in the Quran. You have to go nowhere else. All these philosophies and all your intrigue and all the ways that you are destroyed and you are overcome by your own selves or by others is all written in the Quran. There's no secret in the Quran. It's just secret is that you don't open it. That's why it remains secret to you. So here, look at what, surely Pharaoh high in the earth and made her keepers sects. He weakened a party from them. He killed their sons, and he let live their women. Surely he was from the warning. So here example is for that what happened. He weakened the sons of Israel, and he strengthened their enemies. Yeah, and then he killed the sons of Israel because he knew there was going to be a son of Israel who was going to be his enemy. And it turns out that he was the guy he brought up, Moses, in his own palace. What a joke. Yeah, I mean, God is sinister when He wants to be. He's mysterious. He's straightforward. He deludes you. He deceives you to get His plan implemented. It does not matter, but you bring it upon yourself because you're a bunch of morons. So God will do all the nasty things to you and make you believe you're fine, like Pharaoh thought he was fine. Do you think Pharaoh thought Moses was going to be the guy? That he let him live in his palace for God knows how long, till he killed the guy and he ran from Egypt to Tiberias, yeah? Madian in the Quran. No. So this is how it works. The God does this as well, by the way. He breaks us into groups and He pushes some of us against others. The only difference is that when man does it, or the Satans, the demons, it is to gain power over you. It is not to push you back from between each other and to make you war between yourselves. It's to take control of you. God doesn't need that. He already has control over you. He doesn't need you to fight each other to gain control over you. He does it to make you taste war of each other and to push some of you against others so that there won't be maximum or extreme war or severe war on the earth. And that's what's going on right now with Russia and China rising up against the West. That's what's happening right now. Where it will end is the destruction of all of them, except those who follow me, those who follow the guidance that has come to me. Other than that, if you don't follow that guidance, you will be ending up with them, destroyed in the end and burning in the fire forever. This is how it works. It's one man who comes with this guidance in every generation, and those who follow him that succeed in the end. There are no two things about it. If you think I'm doubting, then you can come and quickly kill me. Yeah, and then find out what happens after that to you. Then you will hasten the destruction upon yourselves. Right now it's going according to whatever God's term is. But if you kill me, or you harm me, or you exile me, or you take away my son, or you do anything evil to me or plot against me, your destruction will be hastened upon you. That's all. The term will be the same. The time will be different. You will just shorten the time till your destruction comes. And part of that term is that if you do this stuff to me, the time gets shortened. That's how it works, yeah. And I can't tell you when it's going to come. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know what the punishment will be this time to destroy you all, but I know it's coming. This is what I do know. So here Pharaoh says, O you the chiefs, not I taught you from God other than me, but light to me, O Haman, over the sulfur, but make to me a platform, maybe I rise to God of Moses, and surely I, to my surely thinking he, from the falsifiers. So look at how he thinks he's God, just like the rest of you, the little pharaohs and the big pharaohs. The big pharaohs are the big gods on the earth, little pharaohs are little gods. The big pharaohs are like moronic Bill Gates, scumbag Soros, idiot Elon Musk, all these nasties, and your leaders like Biden and Macron and Trudeau. All these guys are the big pharaohs, the people think are the big gods on the earth. Yeah, these guys are going to be squashed to smithereens, burnt in hell forever, and they will cry forever, and they will never be forgiven. They have no path back now. I don't see them coming back, these moronic. The little ones of you who think you're little gods, you might want to turn back and understand you're no gods and neither am I, but I'm higher than you. I have the knowledge. You don't. You don't understand what's going on. I do. Yeah. Unless you understand what I understand, you don't understand. And you don't understand that you don't understand. So, get with the program and understand. So now this guy says to one of his chiefs, his name was Haman, one of his chiefs in the time of Moses, that over the sulfur make me a platform to rise to God of Moses. Understand this. Look at what you're doing with the rockets today, have been doing for the last, 70, 80 years. Yeah. Sulfur is a important ingredient in propulsion, obviously. And it is what creates fire. So it's not about, they call this word, these idiots who don't understand the Quran, the word teen, they say it's clay. No, that's nonsense. Sulfur. See, how are you going to rise to God of Moses if you can't put a fire under yourself? You can't go up there without a fire, whether it's in a balloon or whatever you want to call it. But here's it's referring to rockets. The rockets that you make to send up over to the end of the heavens to reach God. Yeah, exactly what Pharaoh was doing. You're perfect followers of Pharaoh on the earth today, and they want to reach God. You're not going anywhere. You haven't been anywhere outside the earth, and you're not going anywhere. You cannot cross the heaven above you or from the sides. We're trapped in this place. Yeah. So this is what they did, and you're doing exactly the same. And you pretend to believe. No, you don't pretend to believe. You pretend to make us believe. You pretend that you've gone there and make us believe you've gone past and you're on these planets, you've been to the moon and all this other nonsense. Garbage. It's all written here. You're doing exactly what he did to prove there's no God of Moses. Yeah, you're doing exactly the same thing. So again, applies perfectly now. Let's move on. Then he says, leave me, I will kill Moses, and let him call his Lord. Surely I fear that he will change your way, or that it appears in the earth the war. So look at your leaders. A guy like me, kill this guy because he's saying things that are against our way. He might change our way because he's making sense, yeah, obviously, and to the nonsense they feed you. And my sense is only because of the unseen, not the seen. And they don't let you see the unseen. They make you focus on the seen, which is your science, and delude you completely. Yeah. And I'm going to fear that he's going to change your way, the way you live on this earth. I'm going to change. Why are you afraid of me changing your way or Moses if you're on the right path and nothing can contradict what you're doing? I have no fear. You can challenge me with anything. I'll come with an answer that you won't be able to come back with. And you will say, oh, you're lying. I'll say, prove that I'm lying, and you won't be able to. You present pictures and video to show what you've done. Most of it is a lie, obviously. Yeah. So what does Moses say? Surely I seek refuge with my Lord and your Lord from every arrogant not he believes with day of the account. This is the hereafter. Yeah. So now he says this. So you say this to me, I say this back to you. I've already asked refuge with my Lord and your Lord, and that damn Pharaoh ain't your Lord, and those damn Mountbattens and Rothschild, they're no flipping lords. They're freaking animals. Animals that will be slaughtered by God when the term comes, and they will burn in hell forever. This is the reality, and I promise you that. Let's see whose promise stands in the end. So then again, in chapter 40, Pharaoh says to Haman again, make me a platform, maybe I reach the paths of the heavens. So I rise to God of Moses. Surely I, to my surely thinking he falsifies. And like that beautified to Pharaoh evil his deed, and stopped over the path. This is the path of God, to be on the path of God, and not plan of Pharaoh except in destruction. So this is what Pharaoh did. Again, is the confirmation of what I just told you. He wants to rise up. What are you guys doing? Oh, Elon Musk wants to go to Mars. Elon Musk can't get out of the earth. Has never sent any rocket that left the heaven of the earth. Yeah, the only space is between the heaven and the earth, and the barrier that covers the earth, which is fundamentally the heaven. That is the only space they can go to. Now, what's happening up there, what they've sent up there, and how they're managing it, I don't know. I'm not privy to that information. But they are up there, obviously. They have balloons and so-called satellites and drones and stuff like that up there, for sure. I have no doubt in that. They have not crossed any barrier that lets them escape the heaven and earth system. From the sides or above, they cannot leave. So this is all nonsense. So let's go to another place. So now, when Moses comes, this is what Pharaoh called in his people. O my people, is not to me kingship of Egypt, and these, the rivers, flowing from beneath me, are but not you looking? Or I better from this the one, he lowly, and not he can, he be clear. But why not thrown over him rings from gold? Or come with him the angels capable? So this is the nonsense. Of course, the angels you never talk about now, yeah? I mean, you will also say, hey, where are the angels as well? Some of you might say that, like idiots, insane, inane people that you are, that when the angels actually arrive, you will have no choice that day, whether it's your death or the destruction punishment of God that is coming. You will have no choice, neither will I, but I expect it. You don't. And I ask forgiveness of God. You don't even believe he exists, let alone ask his forgiveness. So this is how he, well, look, I've got rivers and, what is he talking about? Like why I say the gardens flowing from beneath the rivers in the hereafter. He says, oh, look at my gardens. I have rivers here. So yeah, obviously this earth is an example of what we're going to get in the hereafter. Just that's going to be infinitely better than here. Yeah. And then he says, I'm better than this guy. He can't even speak clearly. This guy, Moses. Yeah. And why isn't rings of gold sent down over him? So where's your wealth? Why can't you be clear? I'm pretty clear actually, thank God. Yeah. But there are much more people who are clearer than me, and you glorify them because they're clearer than me. Although they are spreading and spewing clear garbage and clear nonsense, yeah, you will obviously, yeah, they are clearer than me with the nonsense they say. Go ahead, continue. So, it's one last place where, again, the story where it goes, has come to you story of Moses. Behold, called him his Lord with the valley, the holy of Tuah. He said, Go to Pharaoh, surely he transgresses, but say, is to you, to that you purify. And I will guide you to your Lord, so you fear. So this is what God told Moses to tell Pharaoh here. So I am sent to guide you, so you fear. Yeah? Do you want to purify yourself? And I will guide you to your Lord, so you fear. Yeah? So the guide is the messenger. That is the guidance of God. I am the guidance of God to you all. If you want to purify yourself, I will guide you to your Lord, so that you fear your Lord and no one else. So showed him the signs the great, but falsified and disobeyed. Then turned, he striving, so gathered, but called. But he said, I, your Lord the High. So here he comes, he's making himself God and Lord. So grabbed him the God, example of the later and the first. Surely in that to be instruction to one, he fears. So don't make yourself Lord or God. The example has been shown to you what happened to Pharaoh. And all of us have the ability to make ourselves gods and lords in our souls. And then we cover that up by acting all pious and sanctimonious, while we're absolute wretched hypocrites. And we do not turn on our evil path that we're on, and we expect God will give us everything. And most of you get almost everything in this world, and then some more, but you don't understand that you've sold your hereafter. You've sold the hereafter by purchasing this life of the world with the hereafter. That is what Satan is selling to you. The life of the world with the hereafter. So I'm going to give you, I remembered actually that I'm going to tell you about what happened to Pharaoh. So all this is Pharaoh, and in the end what happens to Pharaoh? You know what happened to him, but I'm going to tell you what actually happened when he's drowning, when he's drowning down there. And then what does he say? What does he say? So, and we moved with sons of Israel the sea, but followed them Pharaoh and his forces, transgressing and opposing, till when covered him the drowning, he said, I believe, surely he, no God except the one, believe with him sons of Israel, and I from the Muslims. This is what you will say when you are dying, and you haven't submitted to God the way he wants you to submit to him. This is what you're going to say. Although you might not be drowning, you'll be dying, and you will believe that day. And this is the answer from God to Pharaoh, and it will be similar to all of you who do not believe and do not submit to the Almighty God who has all power over all things. Now, and had you disobeyed before, and you were from the warring, but the day we will surely save you with your body, to your being, to those behind you, a sign. And surely most from the mankind, over our signs to be oblivious. So this is what God did to Pharaoh. He's in his body. Okay? The sarcophaguses, the mummies, he's still in the dead body. These guys, Pharaoh and his leaders, they are leaders calling you to the fire, just like Iblis. How that works, I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you how it works in the unseen. I can only tell you what I know of how it works in the unseen, which this book explains to me, and it points me in directions that explain a lot of the other nonsense that is going on the earth. So understand what's going to happen here shortly. To all of you. You are arguing about nonsensical wars, nonsensical diseases. Your science is total nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Complete garbage. You have no understanding of what's going on. You are involved in experiments and modifications to the creation of God, which are bringing the destruction upon you, and you're blaming it on everyone except the one who's actually doing it. Yourselves who are neck deep in the technology that you have invented, the technology that you have invented, and you think that because of global warming or climate change all of this stuff is happening. This is complete nonsense. You will soon find out why it's actually happening, and it's happening because you're changing the creation of God. You have destroyed the balance of the earth that God has set up, and He's commanded us not to transgress the balance that He's set up, and He's completely transgressed it in every way possible. and thus the end will be the end like it has been for all generations before you, the absolute destruction of all your subsistence, all your sustenance, and all those on the earth that stand against God and his messengers and the truth. Thus I will leave you.